up with Mikey Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J Mitch. We got Jackie Boy.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, as everyone's sitting around, who here thinks Ochinko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad doing 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochinko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
You heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time
Good show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle?
My dad tell you about it.
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now.
Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Wednesday, December 18th. 1 week a day. 1 week
A
away.
day. 1 week a day.
1 week a day.
One week a day.
1 week away from Christmas, Lloyd's favorite holiday. Lloyd is the Grinch. If you don't know that, he hates Christmas. Doesn't believe in Christmas.
Well, I told you my story of what spurned me with Christmas.
You did not tell me.
Yeah, the worst Christmas gift you've ever gotten.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me that.
And after that, it's sullied.
Yep, that's tough.
And Coca-Cola made Santa Claus.
Good for them.
That's not true.
And that's not true.
Oh, I
but
watched
good
a
for them.
4-minute video on it
That's not
today.
true. That's not true. That's
Mm.
not a true thing. It actually came from Turkey.
I know. I saw it got community
I
noted.
forgot what it's called.
That's
That's a true statement, though. That's a true statement. It started in Turkey and it wasn't called Santa Claus. It morphed into Santa.
That's beautiful. I'm glad we got
Chris
some.
Kringle.
That's good. It's a good thing. You get the accurate information that you need.
I hated. I watched that whole video. Then I scrolled down. I was like, community notes. Like, fuck, man. I wanted to believe it so bad.
Oh man, we don't have any community notes on our show. Hopefully,
Not yet.
Not yet. We have a big show for you.
Copyrights
today.
all the time.
It is Wednesday. So it's Ask Mikey and Mitch Wednesday. Throw your questions in the chat as the show goes on. We're going to have a beautiful show. Obviously, it's a lot of conversation about the transfer portal and about what LSU is doing in the transfer portal. They had another big day yesterday. They continue to roll in the portal. Nick Anderson has signed with LSU. Obviously, he was a wide receiver of need.
Easy work.
Take any time.
I haven't
Damn.
done that in a minute.
Just zero ball security.
Yeah, came up on the table, got a hold of tight and tight. I was out like a little loaf of bread. Not
What a
good.
bug.
Nick Anderson, obviously a big get. There's a few more guys on campus. It feels like you're going to have some more signees maybe as the show goes on. Sign with LSU here pretty soon. More names are being added into the portal. It seems like everybody that's added to the portal has LSU as a favorite, which is a good sign. That Underwood money is long money. That Underwood money that you didn't have to use is being used in a variety of different ways on a variety of different players. And looking back, maybe it's the better move for LSU right now to be able to go and rebuild the roster with a whole bunch of guys instead of having one guy as a freshman come in and command all that money. We shall see. Obviously, you're not going to know that until after the fact.
3 Heismans.
Huh?
3 Heismans.
3 Heismans. What do you mean?
Bryce Underwood.
Oh, you think he needs to win 3 Heismans?
Yeah, Ryan Parlow it.
Yeah, boy. If he wins 3 Heismans.
If he wins 2.
If he wins 2 Heismans. If he wins a Heisman. Like 1 Heisman's hard to do. You know what I mean? Let's not jump straight to 3. But obviously we're gonna go through all the commits. We're gonna talk to Bryce Coon, who is in the
Bryce who?
Bryce
God,
Coon.
Lord.
Yeah, people thinking it was Underwood for a second.
I said Coon, didn't I?
Bryce Coon.
That's why I made sure I said Coon, because we don't have.
Wait, what'd you say?
That would be great. But we have Bryce Coon in the on deck circle, getting ready for our show, and we're obviously going to talk a little gambling and a little bit of the college football playoff. So let's get to it. I know we don't have a lot of time with Bryce. He is a dad, and he's a good dad.
Well, he brings
And,
the baby's mobile.
Oh, the baby's on the show today?
No, not today, but he brought him to the presser.
That was a bold move. That was a risky move.
Good baby.
Good baby. Good baby. Bryce, welcome back, dude. I don't even have my earphones in.
Yeah,
Probably,
you can't even hear him.
probably should put that in. Now I got him in. Welcome back, Bryce. What?
Oh, hold on. This is on me.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
we
It's
got
on him. It was on him.
you. We got you. Bryce,
I was gonna
welcome
take the
back,
fall
dude.
for you, buddy.
Let me ask you this.
I just wanted.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go. You
well,
go
I
first.
wanted to know why you enunciated my last name so aggressively.
Yeah.
Well,
Because he was going to try to make people think that we had Bryce Underwood on.
I wasn't trying to do that. Then I realized after I said Bryce and there was a gap, I was like, shit. They think I just talked about Bryce Underwood. They probably think it's Bryce Underwood. So then I panicked and I yelled your name.
And he fumbled.
And then I fumbled. It was a tough intro, but you know what? It's not how you start, it's how you finish, and that's what we're going to try to do here. We're going to finish this thing strong. But I do have a question for you. You brought your kid, your
Go ahead.
beautiful baby girl,
Finished strong.
to the presser. Were you nervous that, like, what if she just starts wailing, crying, and then it just – because, look, there's a lot of good acoustics from the indoor.
Well, this was actually at Walmart. So this was the presser in the outdoor section at Walmart for when the players like take the kids shopping and everything. So no,
Okay. That's the difference.
It was all good. Yeah.
Yeah, well, good.
Yeah.
She
He
made
knows
it.
what he has.
She was
Yeah, no
awesome.
doubt.
Loved it.
Look, you've been good. That you wouldn't be confident. You've been a good dad. You're confident in bringing your child out in a social setting like that, knowing that she's going to be a-okay. So I appreciate that.
I'm glad that we have checked that off Mikey's approval.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you're worried about that. But I'm here to give it to you. So, but let's talk about this transfer portal and college football and LSU and everything that's kind of been happening. A month ago, we talked to you last week. Obviously, the portal was starting to get rolling. LSU hadn't really gotten all the guys that they have gotten now, and a week later, they have 9 commits or 9 signees. And more on the horizon. It seems to be over the next couple of days. I'd imagine that's going to continue to grow. How do you feel that they have started in this portal season, and how do you think they're going to finish in this portal season?
Yeah, I mean, I think fans are excited, right? I mean, we kind of go back to like 2 weeks ago where we're getting into signing day. A lot of the fans, a lot of the fans were kind of, I don't want to say doubting, but they were a little bit worried about where LSU would go for 2025. The Bryce Underwood situation, they're not going to pay for players. And they're one of the most aggressive spenders 7-8 months later, knowing that 2025 is such an important year. So, I love the additions that they've made. I think that this is, I don't know if you guys want to go through every single guy or just some guys that, however you want to take it. I mean, I genuinely think that the guys they brought in are not, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to put this, they're not afterthoughts. These aren't bounce back guys.
Yeah, these aren't death pieces.
You can make an argument for maybe like a guy like Jakeem Jackson. Yeah, you can make the argument for a guy like Jakeem Jackson that, was hurt last year, so he really didn't have the tape that you wanted. But the rest of these guys are pretty much guys that can play. And you're going to plug and play, and you're going to hope that they can help you, reach the SEC title and reach that 12-team playoff. So I like the way they've attacked this. They've been aggressive. You always hear different figures and numbers thrown out at certain things. But, and for me, I guess I would say is they've been aggressive. They've filled a lot of needs. You still want to see them bolster different spots. Safety's one of those. Offensive line, we're kind of still waiting on, I think, one guy that a lot of people feel like is going to commit. And then it's just kind of adding around the edges. I mean, you kind of go with like the meat and potatoes of what you needed.
Well, who's the offensive lineman that's going to commit?
You hit on it.
You said who's the lineman that's
so the kid from
Virginia Tech. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So Braelin Moore is the guy that, I mean, it's pretty. I would say it's as public can get off of a message board. That's the guy that we all expect to be kind of the next domino to fall. And look, his teammate Mansour, Delane has committed. They were on the visit together. Braelin Moore wanted to go back home. He hasn't scheduled any other visits. And that's a guy that, I'll say this, you can plug and play straight up and play center, and maybe you can move DJ Chester to guard, where maybe he can, grow into that role. And maybe that's better suited for him at the college level. So they're hosting the tackle from the offensive tackle from Washington State this weekend. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name because I'll butcher it and that'd be awful. But I think they could add one or two pieces and then rely on some of the younger guys that you've recruited over the past 2 years to maybe develop. But I like the way they've attacked this, and I think if you're an LSU fan sitting here, you're like, there's real reason to be excited. There's real reason to have optimism, and I don't know. And you mentioned in your opening, we're going to have to see, obviously, the real judgment's going to come next fall, right? Like, that's when we're going to really see. But right now, like, Brian Kelly's going to go down swinging. Whether 2025 results in a playoff, whether it results in a new coach, whether it results in another, average year, and we see the same conversation happening for 2026, they're going down swinging here in 2025 for this offseason.
Bryce, let me ask you this. Since we're kind of touching on all of them and we've kind of bounced around from position group to position group, in your opinion right now to this day, because I would imagine there's 12 teams left still in the playoff, there's still a number of players that might hop in the portal. Who knows what can still happen. But as we sit here today right now, what position group do you think has kind of had the biggest upgrade of who they've brought in through the portal already?
I'm going to cheat here, and I'm going to add in high school recruiting because I think it's the secondary. Just talking with people, and even people, back when I covered the ACC and knowing some people who covered Virginia Tech, Mansour Delane right now to me is like the most impactful guy. This is a guy who was very good in the ACC, and it's look, I understand the ACC is maybe not the SEC, but against the two games that they played against two top 15, top 10 passing offenses, Syracuse and Miami, Delane had really good games, and you kind of go back to what he does best. He's a ball hawk. He's a guy that he can play boundary corner, but in one of those games, and I can't remember which one it was, they needed him for several series to kind of slot back at safety. He did that. One of the next two drives, he gets a pick. So this is a guy that, in Delane for me he's interchangeable. He gives you versatility back there. And look, it allows for other guys to be more comfortable. And look, you go back 2 years ago, this has just been a secondary that I just don't think that they've actually had a comfortable starting four. We'll just cheat and say four guys, two corners, two safeties, to where they say, you know what, everyone's in the right spot and everyone's at their best spot. Even last year, the guys just left a lot to be desired. It wasn't the best starting four in terms of that. So I think Delane gets you there because he allows for some versatility where it doesn't put a lot of pressure on DJ Pickett, right? Like, you're going to have Ashton Stamps, who is, going into year 3 as a starter. Then you're going to have DJ Pickett, who he can also play some safety. It's 6'4", nearly 200 to 190 pounds, whatever he needs to get up to. So if Pickett's not ready to go day one, you've got a guy that's, all ACC level that can come in and slot right there. If he is ready to go, then maybe that offers some flexibility for Delane to move around, maybe to play some safety, because he's a sure tackler too. So they just really needed to find some stuff back there, because you get to some of the flashier names, Jared, like wide receiver, it's fun to talk about what Nick Anderson and Barry and Brown can do. I just think the biggest need right now was that secondary. You needed some explosive players, some flash players, and just talking to people, Delane is a really, really good pickup, and a lot of people were impressed LSU was able to get him and how quickly they were able to get him to commit.
Go ahead, real quick, just because of you just mentioned his name, obviously there was a little bit, I don't want to say obviously, but there was a little bit of chatter that he may have entered his name in the NFL draft. That came up. I've read some things from Shea Dixon from 247 that was a possibility, but now it feels like he is all in on LSU. Is that can that be confirmed?
I can't 100% confirm it, but what I will say is that for me, from the two things I'm to understand is that the opportunity to come to LSU was he wanted to play against the best and he wanted to test himself more. There had been conversations with he and his representation about entering the NFL draft, before he entered his name into the portal. Once they got the sense of the schools that were looking at him, that dwindled down. So I know that's not a definite answer, but I think it does offer a little bit of insight to the thought process of what he had as we might want to enter our name in. And once they kind of got a feel of, here's the schools that are interested, which for people who don't know, this is a guy who, was rumored to be going to visit Ole Miss and then, just calls Ole Miss and says, hey, I'm not coming, and turns around and tells the LSU staff, I'm ready to commit now. So could it happen? Of course. I mean, there's nothing that's completely off the table, but it would surprise me to kind of see him enter his name into the draft at this point.
Staying on the defensive side of the football, obviously we talked about the secondary. I think that was obviously the biggest need. I think that's been the biggest need for a while. A position that was one of the strengths of the team this year that now is kind of depleted is the defensive end spot, right? The edge rushers. You lose both starters, and then you lose a couple guys to the portal. You have a bunch of young guys that actually had some flashy plays through the course of the year, but they didn't have a ton of snaps. And it seems like the staff wants to replenish that depth. Not necessarily saying, hey, these guys are going to come in and be day one starters and play as many snaps as the other two defensive ends played, but it feels like they want to have that rotation. Is that kind of the sense that you're getting from the staff and from the guys they brought in?
Yeah, and you kind of looked at who was supposed to take the reins, and I mean, Brian Kelly kind of alluded to it. He pretty much said it without saying his name. Like, the biggest head scratcher was Deshaun Womack, in terms of, like, this is a guy who was pretty much slotted to be the guy. And, if he was frustrated with playing time, like, if I'm an LSU fan, you would have loved to have him, but no one was going to take Braden Swinson out of that starting spot. That would have been ridiculous, and LSU fans should have been ticked off in the other way, because that would have been Brian Kelly, Kevin Peoples, and Blake Baker coaching in fear of the transfer portal. They didn't do that, and it cost them Deshaun Womack, but you also saw a guy that was one of the more productive pass rushers, not just in the SEC, but in college football, and we'll hear his name called, at least in the first 2 days next April. So when you look at who left, yeah, they had to go get some guys. I like Gabriel Relaford. He kind of splashed there towards the end of the season. We all like young players. Look, I work for a recruiting service, but you can't just expect guys to make a step and be the guy, especially in the SEC with the schedule that LSU has next year. So they go out and get, Jack Pyburn, who the best way to describe Jack Pyburn from talking to people is it's like, and I think LSU fans will like this, it's like if Whit Weeks was more of a pass rusher and played on the edge. Just a nasty dude, a guy that does not really, he just doesn't really care, doesn't give a rip. Like,
does he play the way that he talked about contact? Does he actually play that way?
Oh, have you not seen him?
No, I haven't seen any film. I haven't seen any film.
No, he does. Like, this is a guy who legitimately plays.
So he likes to stick his face in the fan, like
the crazy white guy.
Exactly.
No. A lot of crazy. There's a lot of them that talk that way. There's a lot of players that talk that way.
Play that way
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's crazy.
Like, get the face mask type of.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. But I've seen a lot of guys talk that way.
Yeah, right.
And you pop on the film and it don't look that way. And I'm not saying that I haven't seen him. That's why I'm asking.
He had 60 tackles in 8 games. There's guys that LSU that have played for 3 years that don't have 60 tackles. And this is a guy who just gets after the football. And LSU needed more of that. Now, a lot of people were talking about his demands and what it looked like. And I talked with some people in his
Is that
camp,
real?
and
Was that real?
no. It was no. That's one thing. Even like, I mean, I don't want to get off subject. The kid that transferred into A&M, the Micah Hudson kid,
Yeah.
that wasn't real.
Yeah,
Like,
there's no way that was real. Like we read it.
Mikey said that's what he would have done if that's what he would have asked for.
Those are my.
He did say
that
that.
actually was in line with what I thought. What I would have. I think I would have.
He actually thought the kid sold himself short if that was real. That's what he said.
Yeah. He should have got a jet, the jet to fly private jet to fly the guys down there instead of just tickets.
Mikey's like, I'm Lebanese. I need 10 cars.
You don't go for it. You don't go for 10 people. You need 15.
No, personal drivers for all my guests too, not just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
The
doubt.
best way to put it with Piper,
77 virgins.
I talked with someone in the building.
The
and they
Kapua
said
suite.
I talked with someone in the building, and they pretty much said that his representation was great to deal with.
Oh,
and,
good.
and so they did not experience that. I think there was some, disagreement on his usage of how he wanted to be utilized, and part of that was certainly might have been true. Like he wants to be used on third downs more. Florida had a guy that was a third down specialist. LSU doesn't have necessarily that guy. We're going into 2025. You think you might have it in Rutherford, but Pyburn, maybe he can, be involved into that. Man, there's so many names. The kid from Nebraska, and I
Jamari Butler.
blanked on his name. But the other, Jamari Butler. This guy is very disruptive, and the stats don't pop off. But when you go look at what he's able to do, go back and watch their game against Ohio State. And Ohio State's offensive line was a little bit beat up this year. But go back and watch when he's played against Ohio State, and he's disruptive. Like, he can get in the backfield, and that's what LSU needs, right? Like they need guys that just want to tear people's heads off. And like I think that's just the bottom line. I think they've got that in Butler. From all accounts, they've got that in Pyburn. Like that's a guy who you're going to have to worry about targeting penalties. Like I'll just say that. Like that, a guy that just really wants to play full throttle, balls to the wall for 60 minutes.
I'd rather that than the other way. You can bring that back. How many guys do you think LSU is going to add? Like how many total guys in the portal do you think LSU is going to end up having?
So they're 9 right now?
They're at 9. It seems like they're about to have their 10th in the center.
Yeah. BK said 15.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're quite done with entries yet, to be honest. Or BK said 12, I think.
Yeah, I think he said 12.
I don't think they're quite done with entries, if that makes sense. I think that you're going to see some more guys go into the portal because you have to ask, like, what is the fit for some of these guys? As they kind of go through what they are going to go through in winter workouts, what they're going to go through during, the spring is, positions seem to, and roles become more defined. I think you're going to see more entries. And so all that to say is we could see 15, 16, but I also want to sit here and say, like, what if there's a big name defensive tackle that just pops into the portal in like March? You're telling me LSU's not going to be a player for that? Right. So, I don't want to pigeonhole them into any number, but 15, 16 wouldn't surprise me at the end of the day when they kind of roll post-spring and then into the summer.
And speaking of like the spring portal or maybe even that last second window of this early portal, would you think that there's some of these players that are still on contending teams that LSU could possibly go after, guys that are on, in the college football playoff that they could look at and probably evaluate and see who wants to get in the portal that haven't yet?
Yeah, the national championship's on what, January 20th? That's the day of the national championship this year? I think that there's certainly a possibility. I mean, you saw some guys kind of enter the portal after the conference championship weekend. I know Georgia had the big DB that entered. Julian Humphrey went to A&M. I don't think you're going to see a lot of attrition until said teams' runs are over. And so certainly, I mean, that could be the case where you're going to have a guy that, I mean, let's just say whoever's in the national championship, and there's a guy that enters the portal on January 21st, right before the parade type of deal, because that kind of stuff happens. Let's just say that happens. LSU could be a player. Has, enrollment already started? Yes. Does that complicate when you can get the kid into school? Yes. I will say this, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. The whole idea of getting a kid in for spring ball, I understand why they want to do it. I don't think it means it means detriment to your team if you can't do it. The NFL does it. They draft guys in April, and then they work through the summer with mini camps and stuff like that. These guys are working in the summer. You get fall preseason camp. I don't think it's a detriment. So do I think LSU could be a player for some guys on those teams? Yeah, I think they definitely could. I'll add this too. They hosted the kid from Texas who already entered the portal, and his team's in the middle of a run. He's on campus today and tomorrow. He'll leave tomorrow morning. So Sydir Mitchell is that guy's name. Big dude up in the middle. 315, 320 type of guy. So, yeah, they're going to be in play. I don't want to pigeonhole them into a specific number. And like you said, Lloyd, who knows? I mean, there might be some disgruntled player on Clemson. There might be some disgruntled player on Ohio State. Look, I mean, what if Ohio State loses round one? Does Ryan Day get the heave ho, and is he done? And so that opens up a lot of talent in that roster that might want to jump in the portal. So you never keep your options closed. The door's never closed. And I think LSU, like we're seeing, is going to be a player for everybody.
I'll touch on the spring entry of those guys getting in the school early. I do agree with you, but I will say, like, right now, so like I kind of think of it this way, just to kind of be relatable with this thing. 25 years ago, there wasn't that many kids playing travel baseball. Now every kid plays travel baseball. So it's at a detriment if all you do is play high school baseball. Because there's so many guys that do enter early and get into it, and the benefits that you can get from it, I do think it doesn't necessarily hurt your team, but it does slow you down a little bit because that's just that much less time of you getting a chance to kind of be above the curve, if you will. And now the curve is a little steeper because there's more people doing it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And I think look, they'd love to get everybody in on January the 2nd, right? Like, they'd love to get all these guys in and get handed them the playbook. And, for certain positions, it probably means a little bit more. Certain aspects, if there's a prior relationship with a coach and what he likes to do, maybe it's not such a big deal. If it's a veteran player, maybe it's not such a big deal. But I do agree with your sentiment there, what you're saying. I mean, times have changed in that sense. And so I think there's an argument for both sides of it.
Let me ask you this before we get to the college football. I want to have your take on the playoffs and who you like this weekend. Because we haven't talked gambling with you in a minute because we had an off week last week, so we didn't really get to talk about any betting. LSU's got a bowl game on New Year's Eve. They have an offensive line that they're not gonna have their two tackles, right? They've had some issues on that interior offensive line, even when they had the tackles there. What can we expect as far as the starters go for that? And, it was announced today that Braden Swinson is going to play in the bowl game, which I think is great. What can we see or what can we expect to see from the LSU team in a week or so, 2 weeks?
I think you're going to see a lot of the younger guys. And there's a lot of, idea for excitement. Like, there's a lot of reason for excitement with that. And you mentioned Braden Swinson, like, this is a guy that cares a lot about a legacy, and he mentioned that so many times, and I feel like that falls on deaf ears a lot, but he really cares about, how, for better or for worse, what people think about him in an LSU uniform. And I think that's why he elected to play in this game. And it's also one last chance for him to put up, some really good tape in a bowl game, New Year's Eve game, and continue to see his draft stock rise. And that's an opportunity. That's a guy who could continue to benefit from a really good performance. So, you have that. I think you're going to see Don McKinley. You're going to see him be a guy that, you want to continue to develop, because with all the talk around defensive tackle, McKinley is a guy who really kind of showed out in that Oklahoma game. And now you enter a point where it's like, okay, you really showed out in the Vandy and Oklahoma games. Can you put together a good bowl performance? And then now we're talking about, a position room that has completely flipped in 365 days where, this time last year, McKinley, we were talking about, he's going to commit to LSU. He commits on New Year's. He plays at a low classification. Is his body ready? And now, a year later, he might be one of the bigger disruptors that you've got on the defensive line. And that's for a good reason, not out of necessity. So I'm excited to watch him. Ahmad Bro is just the semblance of selflessness. This is a guy who played defensive end at Ruston, was really, really good high school football player, and just transformed his body, bought in, and I think it's a guy that I don't know if he's going to make a bunch of all SEC teams, but I think LSU fans are going to continue to fall in love with the kind of guy he is. And so you get to see those two young guys in the middle. Defensive end, let's see what Gabriel Relaford can do. Let's see what a guy like Dylan Carpenter can do. Does he have a role? So I think there's a lot of interesting pieces to that puzzle of where you could go with this defense. And then elsewhere, I think the secondary is really interesting because you've got some portal entries. Does Javian Toviano have a role in this defense? We're going to figure out very quickly in this bowl game. Here's his chance to solidify anything heading into next spring.
You mentioned you led off with the Braden Swinson, what I think is unbelievable how much he, for some reason, just loves LSU. Obviously, was brought here through the transfer. Well, he wasn't committed here. He was from Oregon. He got him through the transfer portal, and he's been one of the guys that's been more LSU than I've seen from anybody, or outspoken about how much he loves LSU. But to replace some of that pass rush, you saw that Patrick Payton from Florida State entered the portal today, and it was immediately announced that LSU was one of the teams in the mix. In 39 games played, 110 tackles, 16 sacks, 31.5 tackles for loss. Do you imagine that LSU would they've been in the mix for everybody, it feels like this at this point in time, and when they're mentioned, they're usually a winner. Is this somebody that you think is an absolute must-get whenever you consider losing a Swinson, losing a Parashand, and coming in with unproven guys on the edge? I feel like this is somebody that you might have to, if a number comes out, wouldn't be surprised by it for spending-wise.
Lloyd, you're going to hate me here because it did cut out. What was the name that you mentioned there? I heard the stats, but I didn't hear the name.
Patrick Payton, Florida State.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought you were talking about. I just didn't want to go on a diatribe about Payton and
Sean Payton.
Not be talking about him. Yeah, Sean Payton.
Gary Payton.
Let's keep it going.
Gary Payton. Walter. No, look, in all seriousness, they couldn't use a running back like Walter Payton, in all seriousness. But Patrick Payton, look, this is a guy coming into the season. He's a freak. He is really good. And look, we put it on our board that, look, this is a guy that LSU needs to look at. Just a weird season this year. And the farther we get out from 2024, it's going to be interesting to me to really go back and look at, certain guys on that Florida State team were very individually talented, but it just failed miserably. And so a guy like Patrick Payton's going to be slept on because it's like people are saying, yeah, he's okay. I mean, I see down here in the comments, Canes, whatever. Miami fan says he's good, but not a crazy player. He tests out ridiculous, and there's a reason that he is going to have value at the next level because of the potential. Kevin Peoples just showed everybody what he can do with a guy like Braden Swinson and Savion Jones in 1 year. If you're Patrick Payton, where else would you want to go? I mean, let's be real. I don't know what type of draft stock Savion Jones had coming into the season. Braden Swinson was a guy you're like, yeah, he could be good, but he's a rotational guy. Braden Swinson's probably a day 2 pick. And Savion Jones is going to be in those mid-later rounds because of the work done, by him. So I think, in just my opinion, it could be a must-get because this is a guy that you really look. He needs 1 more year to put up some stupid numbers that he can work himself back into round 1 type of conversation. If not, then, I don't know where else he would want to go. I think LSU's pitch is pretty self-explanatory. We just took 2 guys that didn't have a really crazy high draft stock. We put them on draft boards. You're a guy that has draft stock. We can get you into that day 1 conversation. I don't know what else he would need to know, in terms of what he wants to see and what he wants to go with.
I think the addition of him with the other guys that you brought in obviously would be a huge thing, especially with the need to get after the quarterback. So hopefully he signs with us. Hopefully he's able to get all those testing numbers and actually put it on the field. And he's got 16 sacks.
I was about to say.
So it's not like he hasn't done anything.
He's an alien.
Yeah, he's got 16 sacks. So he's obviously got some production.
He had 4 this past year, and everyone's like, he's not any good. I'm like, guys, he was filthy his first couple of years. And
so, wait,
he's still good.
That's
he
the
just
thing
played
for
on
me.
a terrible football team.
So that's the thing for me. So a guy playing that position who has those kind of numbers, but only 4 this past year on a 2-10 football team.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm sure they didn't start triple teaming him every play. And I'm only saying this as I'm playing devil's advocate right here. Does it worry you at all when you have a guy that's coming in from a team that struggled the way they did? Was he a subtractor from what they should have been doing, or was he an addition in terms of adding to part of the problem if it wasn't going right? if you get what I'm saying. So does it, I guess what I'm asking is when you look at a guy like that who was at a program like that, who was expected to do this and they were nowhere near it, does it give you any kind of, I guess, minus in the mind, or you need to do more digging, or you need to look into it more, thinking about, well, who is he as a person? Because the numbers aren't the same, and he was on this kind of team. Is he going to bring that here?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. It's fair to wonder that. I think also Florida State's a complete dumpster fire right now. And you could make the counter argument to your point, Jared, of
I'm not making a point. I'm asking a question.
Needs to get out. Yeah.
I don't know anything about him, so I don't want to make it seem like that.
Well, yeah, no, maybe he sees he needs to get out. And look, you can also make the point too that when he put up some numbers, who was on the other side of him? Jared Verse, who was really, really good. Yeah. And so the first year without Jared Verse, what does that mean? I don't know. That's kind of what I said earlier, Jared, is I think 2024 Florida State is going to be a case study because everything just went so wrong. We may not know the true details of like who was actually bad, who was actually good on that roster till years and these guys are in the NFL. And you're like, oh, that guy was actually pretty good. Right. He was just on a sorry team. So that's going to be part of it that LSU has to vet. Like when they get him in the building, when they talk with him, when they sit him down and they get a feel for what not only he, but his family and representation are saying. Right. There's already been guys where, and in this portal cycle already, the LSU sat down with, they're like, okay, we like the film, but we've got to see more of the person, and maybe what the person and the player and the agent wants isn't really lining up with the vision of what Brian Kelly wants for this team.
You said that 2020. You said no. I'm about to say 2024 Florida State was a case study. Do you have any concern about 2025 LSU being a case study as Florida State built through the portal? Now LSU is going all in on the portal. Is there a cause for, I guess, a little bit of question of that happening at LSU where you get these guys to buy in, but there's no chemistry, camaraderie, anything? It starts to go bad, and it's like, why are we here?
Well, unless DJ Uiagalelei makes his way to Baton Rouge, I think we'll all be all right.
He's going to the draft.
He's going to the draft.
The Major League Baseball draft.
He's going to the draft.
Well, yeah, whatever.
And now look,
you better learn French Canadian, buddy.
I want to add to the Lloyd asked the question. I think part of that reason, they built through the portal, but they also lost a ton of top tier in the draft talent, right? Obviously, LSU's losing experience, but they're not losing first rounder after first rounder after first rounder that they had at Florida State. So I think it's a little bit of a different situation, but the point's still valid. I was just adding some context to it.
Yeah, no, in all seriousness to that point, I mean, Florida State lost, I can't remember how many first rounders, but off the top of my head, Keon Coleman and Jared Verse, right? Those two guys were released.
Yeah, and then the 6'7" wide receiver too, right?
Johnny Wilson. Yeah. So they lost Johnny Wilson. So they
the
lost,
quarterback.
I mean, look what LSU's really losing. And I'll be as nice about it as I can here. LSU's, what are they really losing? You're losing Zion Alexander, okay? Your best cornerback on a group that's not very good. You're losing
your defensive ends.
Greg Penn. Okay. You're losing Braden Swinson. All right. You're losing Mason Taylor. That's probably your biggest loss.
Will Campbell.
For me.
Well, the line. Will Campbell.
Yeah, Will Campbell. And then you're losing Emory Jones, which, okay. I mean, I think Emory Jones is a guard at the next level personally. I don't. Yeah, whatever. That's a conversation for another day. But yeah, Mason Taylor and Will Campbell, and you're not going to find anybody in the portal that's better than those two guys. So outside of that, like to the point of like so many guys, I think the true foundation of what you have is still there. Like you still have your quarterback. You're bringing him back. So to your point, Lloyd, remember when Florida State went all in the portal in 2022 and it worked out in 2023? Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what LSU fans could look forward to. Like, because you brought Jordan Travis back for another year. LSU brings back Gary Nussmeier for another year. You have continuity at key positions. Now you fill in holes with big-time players. Florida State also had Braden Fisk, who was a really, really good player for them in that interior defensive line. So all those things to say is, yeah, I mean, anything can happen. LSU go out there and, I mean, if they lose to Clemson week 1, then
let's not get there yet. Let's not even bring that up yet.
Yeah, we got 9 months. We're all right or whatever till then. But in all seriousness, like anything can happen. I don't know. I think everything's a case study now, right? Like how much is too much in the portal?
Yeah.
And does Brian Kelly have the people necessary to make sure that culture and chemistry are correct? And how deep is the vetting process? I would argue that maybe Kelly's already learned from that because y'all remember that guy named Denver Harris that came and played for
hell of a
LSU?
player.
Well, not really played, but just hung out around campus for 6 months.
I would even stay on campus.
I think you better. I don't even know if he was on campus. I don't know where he was.
Very good. It might not have been.
But in all seriousness, that's when you should have learned a lesson about culture. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, they hit on some culture guys like Braden Swenson. Like for him to be a transfer and how much he loves LSU, you would have think he grew up 10 miles from the campus.
Yeah.
I mean, he just loves it. And so I don't know that we could play devil's advocate with that all day long, but I do think that maybe they've learned their lesson. But obviously, time will tell.
Last little conversation before I let you go. Obviously, first round of the college football playoffs this weekend. First game is Friday. I believe that is Indiana and Notre Dame on Friday. And then that's followed up by Penn State, SMU, Tennessee, Ohio State, and Clemson, Texas. What's your feelings on these games? The only game that I really can't put my finger on, I really don't know, is the Indiana Notre Dame game. I'm not confident in that game. But the other ones, I think I'm pretty confident with who I like and who I don't like.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I think Notre Dame should win that football game. When you go back and look at what Indiana has done or not really done against good trench play, the two teams they've played with above average trenches, so offensive line and defensive line, they've struggled. They won against Michigan. They lost against Ohio State. That score at the end for Indiana made that look a little bit better on paper. And I know we talked about that, I think, last time I was on when we looked at the playoff and stuff like that. So Notre Dame's pretty strong in the trenches. And I feel like this is a game they could just control. It doesn't need to be high scoring. If Riley Leonard plays and controls the football, they can make Indiana play their version. It's not a knock against Kurt Signetti. Look, AP Coach of the Year, you made the playoff, you're Indiana. Like nobody had that, on their card coming into the season. So I kind of like Indiana. The current
7
spread
points?
I've got is 7.5.
Yeah,
I can see it. I can see that. But I mean, I like Notre Dame to win that one. The only other ones that I'm looking at, fellas, that I'm really bullish on Tennessee.
Me too.
Going into
So are we.
Yep.
So are we.
Even
though it's going to be 18 degrees?
Man, yeah. Ohio State,
soft.
I just don't.
Well, here's my point. Here's the point I made before the show.
I think Dylan Sampson's going to have a field day.
Right.
Personally.
I agree. And I think Tennessee, everybody thinks of Tennessee as this high-flying offense, right? But I think with this year, you just look at Tennessee, they have one of the better defenses in the country. And everybody talks about Ohio State, like they're playing in the cold. They're not used to playing up here. I know a lot of those guys from Ohio State are probably from up north. Those guys aren't used to playing in December either. You know what I mean? Like, they're not used to playing in Ohio State, in Columbus, Ohio, in December in 18-degree weather. Like, don't act like that's something that they do regularly. Yeah. It's not the NFL. So, they may be a little bit more familiar with it, but it's not like they've been training for this all year.
Yeah, and the one thing about Tennessee that they've showed me this year is, they can drop a game they're not supposed to. But you kind of alluded to this, they can win in different ways. Go back to, and I know it was September, but that game at Oklahoma where you would think Tennessee in a Josh Heupel offense, Nico's going to throw the ball 45 times, they're going to sling it around the yard, they're going to out-athlete you. No, their defense won them that game. Their running game won them that game, and Nico just played mistake-free football. They didn't really make him he didn't have to play outside of himself. If they are able to do that, I think they win the game. And I don't think Chip Kelly and Ryan Day trust Will Howard. And
well, they shouldn't. They ran the guy out of there.
They should have. Yeah, they should have kept McCord.
Dude, they hands down should have kept McCord. So I don't know. I'm just kind of sit there. I like Tennessee in that one. I like Clemson to cover at Texas, but I'm taking Texas to win.
See, I think Texas is going to boat race them.
SMU Penn State. What do you say?
I think Texas is going to boat race them.
Clemson's better in the trenches. Clemson's built a little bit like Georgia in the trenches. TJ Parker's a really good football player. They've got some guys. If they can play mistake-free offensively, and I know that's obviously a given, an obvious thing there. I don't know if Texas. I don't know what Texas is going to show up. If it's the Texas that everyone thinks that they are, then they could boat race them. I think that they cover, but I could see a 10 because I've got it at 11.5. I could see a 34-24 win,
Yeah.
or 31-21 win, something like that. And then obviously, for fans people that follow me and stuff like that, they know I'm a big SMU fan. I love Kevin Jennings. I love the Ponies. Man, I think their Cinderella run kind of ends at Penn State. I like when you look at the stats, and stats don't tell the whole story, but they do tell you a lot. Penn State holds the advantage nearly everywhere. That defense is really, really good at home. We'll see. I mean, I'd love to see SMU win. So I think Penn State wins that one. I've gotten the Nittany Lions covering too. So
I agree.
What does that put me at? I'm going Notre Dame winning outright. I've got Notre Dame advancing.
You got Penn State, Texas, and Tennessee.
And Penn State. Yeah.
Yep. That's kind of in line what we like. We'll see what happens.
3-team all underdog money line parlay.
I'm gonna do it too though. I'm gonna sprinkle something on that one.
$3 to win $105.
That's it. I like that. I'm gonna sprinkle it on there too.
Lloyd, throw $30 on there.
Wait, you said 3 teams, so just the Saturday games?
Friday and yeah,
just 4 games.
Yeah, but the underdogs for like the bigger money underdogs. So SMU, Indiana, Tennessee.
Okay.
Money line.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, dude. We appreciate you as
Touchdown
always.
Jesus ain't walking through that door.
As always, we keep you later than we normally do, but we appreciate you always jumping on. Baseball is right around the corner. Playoff football, obviously, here. Then baseball right around the corner. We're going to have you on a lot. Talk some baseball through the course of the spring.
Let's do it.
Appreciate you as always. We'll have you on again soon. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Enjoy dinner.
Of course, fellas.
Enjoy dinner.
Y'all have a great Christmas, too.
You too, man.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Kwanzaa.
Yeah, well, time out.
Okay.
Lloyd said that he didn't like Christmas. I don't know if I want to come on the show.
No,
ever again.
Lloyd's
and
the
if I
Grinch.
do, Lloyd can't be on.
Lloyd is the Grinch.
He's the Grinch.
I'm surprised that he's wearing green, but he needs to be wearing the other color green.
Tell me y'all have never worked in retail by tell me y'all have never worked in retail.
Oh my God! This is all he thinks about when he thinks
Lloyd,
about
I
Christmas.
worked.
He worked in retail probably 2 years
Lloyd.
of his how many years of living, and this is what we're talking about here.
Well, yeah, 25 days
All right, Lloyd, I'm going to send this to you
4
after
years.
the fact, and you can put it up on the screen. I want everyone to go Google the Polar Express kid that sits in the back of this train and looks at the other kids and says, Christmas just doesn't work out for me. That's Lloyd.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's what happened to me. I've
That's
been
it.
burned too many times.
No doubt. Lloyd got
Kids back there crying about Christmas.
an Xbox 360 game, but no Xbox 360 console to play it on. That's why he's scarred from Christmas.
Doesn't work out for me. But I was a child. Let me fire up the
okay, Lloyd.
N64. I'll play GoldenEye again, I guess.
All right, dude. We'll let you go. You gotta
Appreciate
get out of
it,
here.
fellas.
Appreciate you, man. I mean, that's a bad deal for you.
It's a terrible deal.
As a child,
Scarred.
you open up a present that you think is something that you've been really wanting. You open up the smaller gift, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is a foreshadowing of what I'm gonna get." And then you keep going. You're like,
Time
"Is
out,
there another present out there?"
Did you have the big box sitting there? Like, did you think that the other one was there too as well? Like, was there some context clues to put in there, or are you just?
Yeah, there was big boxes full of fucking clothes and bullshit that nobody wants when you're 11. And it's like, maybe they wheel it out, like this is going to be a real Price is Right moment. Like this could have been a real childhood moment where like my parents do love me. Santa loves me. Santa's not real. My parents apparently hate me and tricked me, duped me. Great move by them. But just so you know, this is now going to become, if I ever have a seed, Courtney tradition. You're going to get whatever you're going to get.
So you want him to Grinch it up too?
Oh, absolutely. You're going to get AirPods, no iPhone. Let me throw back to the iPod Touch.
You gonna give him the ones with the wire?
iPod
too.
Nano,
Yeah.
Give him the ones with the
fire.
wire. Not AirPods. The headphones
the headphones
with the wire.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing plugged too.
Yeah,
No
Walkman.
doubt. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's tough. I wish I could help change your view on Christmas, but I think that's a core memory there.
That's a core memory.
Yeah, that's not great.
Oh, my friends, did you get Xbox Live? No.
Nope, tough. Talked a lot. We talked with Bryce about a lot. Obviously, a lot of the transfer portal, some college football playoff. Which Ask Mikey and Mitch. I don't know if we have any questions in the chat. There's a lot that we want to get to, but I want to get to the questions so we don't overlook them like we did last Wednesday. If there's none, we'll keep moving.
We have one as of now. I'll ask it and then go through the rest of the chat to see if there's anything I can base and Ask Mikey and Mitch question off of. Canes, Cats, Heat 305, baseball, let's go. Miami the best. Dylan
Don't know about that.
Vergoots Ask Mikey and Mitch. I have to know Jay Mitch and Mikey's response to Norvell giving some of his contract to NIL. I already know Lloyd's thoughts.
Well, I don't think he's giving it. I think they're taking it from him to give it to
I think this is kind of what it's going to become going forward. Like, this is happening there. I feel like that's kind of what Oklahoma State's doing with Gundy as well. I think bad performance by the team is going to start either – we can't just hack the head coach because that buyout's probably big, and I think probably a lot of places around the country is going to look at some of these contracts and think the same thing. I think it's going to be, well, if we get bad performance here, we need better players. We need better players means we need you to take a pay cut. What's up, dog? I think that's going to start happening a lot more. I just do.
You know my thoughts.
I agree with you. They're controlling this. The schools are controlling this more like professionally now, where it's like, hey, the head coach isn't making, like, the AD is now the GM or whoever say, hey, this is what we're doing. You either get on board or you're out, kind of thing. And so, yeah, you're going to start, especially if you're losing. If you're winning and everybody's bought in, you're good. But if you're losing.
Well, yeah, if you're winning and you're able to raise enough money.
Right.
Then, but I think the days.
Well, it don't matter. If you're winning, there's nothing to say.
I think it's more to say about, hey, Florida State, there's been a conversation around Florida State for a long time about them not investing in their athletic programs, not upgrading the facilities, not doing the things necessary to compete with everybody else around the country. And this NIL stuff falls right in line with everything that they've not been doing in the past, right? It used to be, okay, everybody's upgrading their facilities. It's an arm race and that, which it still is. Florida State hasn't done that. Then it's, okay, now we're getting into this NIL thing, and we're going to start paying this. Florida State's obviously not up to par on that. So I think it just falls in line with what the reputation of Florida State is, to be honest with you.
I'll be honest with you, too. I kind of do think, this is crazy. This really just came to my mind just now. But I think there's a possibility of, if we're looking at a world where there's a X amount of dollars as a salary cap, and that number, not the number of the salary cap, but the number that they're giving the players that's obviously out there and known just keeps going up and up and up, right? If we're paying some of these top flight coaches $10 million and they're not performing, well, how can we maybe knock that number down and start maybe bringing that back to life, or maybe not bring it back to life, but like that's how we're going to try to nullify some of the cost on us right now. So I do think it'll be not so much if you're losing, but I think underperforming coaches and or teams may start looking at schools coming at them like, hey, what you gonna do with that?
For sure, and I think it goes into, you look at the buyouts. Like, all these coaches have all this protection on their buyouts. Like, oh, I can just stink or be good and then leave, and now my team, the team that gave me this opportunity, or I'm gonna leave them high and dry. But they're also gonna pay me, or I'm not doing well, they're gonna fire me, and they're gonna have to pay me all this money, right? Now it's like, hey, listen, yeah, you can have that buyout, but here's the way we're gonna combat that. You stink. We're not going to fire you. We're just not going to pay you as much, so that now we don't have to pay you extra to buy you out, and we're just going to take that money and we're going to try to upgrade the team. So we're actually helping you by taking your money away, or trying to help you. If you can't win with that and you don't have motivation, see ya.
Wonder how many coaches at that point, if that does happen, if this does materialize and it goes forward, just like, then fire me.
Well, then
I want my money.
Well, that's the other thing.
I wonder how many coaches will do that.
But that's the other thing, right? Because, like, if the coach quits, like, he's not getting the buyout, right? Like, he has to get either hired.
No, that's not quitting. If you literally say, I'm not going to come to terms with the pay cut. So then that means you have to fire me.
Yeah, fire me or just deal with it. Yeah, right. Yeah. Wow.
Do you think that, trying to think of it, the days of a $100 million contract are over?
Like, from coaches?
Yes.
With the bot.
I mean, do you believe that? I don't know if I believe that. I really don't. Like,
That's what I'm
I don't think so, because we kind of had this conversation before. Like, I do think
it's over.
You gotta remember, when you come to, like, all right, I guess because it's still pretty much the gold standard in terms of what they've done over the past 20 and where the program is. But when you think Alabama, what's the first name that comes to mind?
Nick Saban.
Okay. Why? Because what that place was before he showed up and what that place was when he said, all right, I'm retiring, is two completely different places. The economy changed around there. Yeah. Everything that's around the stadium changed around there. And the reason why I say that is because he's the guy that still has players to sign over $1 billion worth of contract money. But the one stalwart is Nick Saban. Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't matter how good the player is in the college model, you got 3 to maybe 5 years of being the really good player.
Yeah.
Nick Saban was there for 15 plus.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I don't think that the total contracts will come down. Is just I guess it'll be to the point to where is it going to be fully acknowledged?
Well, that's what I think is I think the $100 million deals, that's not going away. But what I think's going away is the $100 million guarantee deal, right? Where, hey, we're going to give you the Scott Woodward deal. We're going to give you the 10 years, $95 million, and it's fully guaranteed. There's no, like, the buyout is what the contract is if we fire you or do whatever. I think that's going to go away. I think the buyouts that these schools are paying are ridiculous, and I think the money that they're putting into NIL now, I think that's going to be like, hey, listen, we're giving you everything that you need. If you don't win, you don't deserve to get paid to leave. I think that's the case.
And there was no really where else to dump the money. So if you talk about the new rules coming in with the regulations and how the school
April
was able
9th, right? Isn't that when they're voting?
I believe so. And how the schools spend the money. Like, that was all, well, we have to build new facilities, we have to upgrade because we have to spend this money, and we have to pay the coaches because we have nowhere else to allocate the funds. Now we have to build a roster. And I do wonder if it's becoming, if you continue to see the NFL model, or after 2 years, it's see ya.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, I think, yeah, that's the crazy part. I don't think anybody in the world anywhere wants to pay somebody $10 million a year and not be getting production out of it. So with that kind of money on the table still for coaches, I do think it still makes a crazy-ass arms race in terms of, hey, we need you to produce, so we got to get somebody else. Like, I just don't think that that's going to change because of the money that's being paid out.
Yeah. Agreed.
we have questions.
Yeah, I figured that was going to happen.
But I can't lead them off the way I want to because this is Fonz's fault. Not really.
He put $1 million in there, huh?
No, he did. Fonz saves the segment again. He is mad at me because his birthday was on Monday.
Happy birthday.
And that's what he wanted. He wanted a shout-out from the fellas. Like, I gave you a shout-out in the chat. He goes, well, it means more from the guys.
Yeah,
and I was like,
birthday,
Fonz, but I'm not going to tell him.
Happy belated birthday. What you need to know about Lloyd, he's very spiteful.
Mm-hmm.
So if he thinks it's, don't piss in his cereal. You know what I mean?
Don't even put water in it.
No, yeah. I lived a life where that was a real option, and I did it. It's better. Like, dry cereal, not as good as you think. A little water in there.
Don't piss in his cornflakes. That's really the saying, right?
You got to pick the right cereal for the water in it. But times are coming up. Don't you worry about me. Ask him and him.
Yep, there we go.
What uniform at LSU did you absolutely love wearing, and what UD combo do you wish you could have worn more that you didn't?
In baseball. I mean,
either way.
Talk about baseball. My favorite was the midweek pennies. They wear them now on the weekends, but that was my favorite.
Pinstripes. Yeah, definitely pinstripes was fire. Big fan of those. And on the football side, we didn't do as much of the alternate uniform thing. So when we got
8 out of 13 games this year, alternate uniforms.
Yeah. When we got a
People
chance
aren't
to do
happy
it,
about that.
Who cares? When we got a chance to do it, it was actually cool. I liked it. So yeah. I liked the I think we went to Tulane in New Orleans. We played Tulane in New Orleans one year.
Those were fire.
And we wore the white helmet, black. I remember white helmet and purple jersey and white pants.
You're in a little bit of a dogfight for the first half.
Yeah, we were. It wasn't good.
And played him
on that team.
What's that?
They
did have Matt Forte on that team.
Yeah, so like when we wore that was cool. And I used to like wearing purple at home too. So keep it like that.
So, per Moscona,
hey,
I was listening to this earlier. There is a former LSU assistant that apparently I'll get his name in a second because I have to do some Googling. But he was a former LSU assistant under Les Miles, where he was umbrella boy. He would, if Les was walking in the rain, he carried the umbrella.
Who's this?
I'm trying to. I'll get his name. He was a staffer at LSU. Works his way through the ranks. Kudos to you. Gets to Baylor, and now he's a decision maker there. And because of his ties to LSU, he knew that don't let him wear the uniforms again. So Baylor rolls out the gold helmets, white jerseys, green pants. So forces LSU's hand to kind of have to be able to make the decision to wear the dark uniform. So it's spite play. All-time spite play from 15 years ago. Respect the move. So that's why LSU...
You don't know the name of the staffer.
Who knows the guy that carries the umbrella?
I know a staffer that was there, but I don't think it's...
He wasn't an umbrella. The same person?
He wasn't an umbrella.
Jeff Grigas.
Oh well, yeah.
That's the guy.
No, but
I was thinking of it. He was the wire guy for me.
I wouldn't call Jeff. Yeah, you think it was. I've never seen Jeff carry an umbrella.
Yeah, no, I didn't know.
But yes, he was. He had to. He had to
make
take
sure
care of
everything was like.
He did. I never seen Jeff carry an umbrella. I didn't know Jeff was there though.
I didn't know Jeff was there.
They also have
either.
Earl Chevalier there too.
Do they?
Yeah,
Earl's
there. That's who I was thinking of at first. I didn't know Jeff was there. I was like, man, Earl didn't carry no umbrellas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff didn't either. I didn't see it.
He didn't either. I mean, if they don't know if they mean it literally or figuratively.
Oh, there was I saw a picture and everything. Shout out.
Okay.
I mean, if we.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying he was obviously doing a dig at the man.
Yeah.
But I respect it. Like you said, as a spite holder, this is an ultimate spite play. Maybe he graduated from LSU 2010. Probably would love to still work there.
Yeah.
But you have the Dave Aranda connection, who is
course.
probably all on
Of
board
course,
with
of
it
course.
too. So that's more.
I don't think a lot of the fan base for this particular game, I don't think understands that Baylor got to choose first, so LSU didn't have a choice in terms of what you were wearing.
Right.
So they couldn't go traditional in this game, even if they wanted to, because of what was going on. So I think people kind of need to know that a little bit, because there was a lot of people up in arms about it. Actually, when LSU made the post on social media, I went and checked it out, and I'm looking at the comments of it. I'm like, well, people are really salty about this right now, not knowing or not understanding that they got second choice. They didn't get first choice.
They had to explain that in the post.
I know, and people still didn't care.
Yo.
They were still going ham on them. So, yeah, I just, whatever.
Yeah, everybody's always really reasonable. Like, very reasonable in these situations.
Win, baby. Just win.
I am excited about the bowl game. Not because of, like, obviously you're not playing for anything other than, hey, what's next year look like? There's going to be a lot of young guys that are going to have hopefully some pivotal role. I can't talk. Roles next year for LSU. And they're going to get a lot more playing time in the bowl game. So I'm anxious to see that. Anyway, next question.
All right, we'll keep this on just because it's the only time that I can bring this one back. Ask Eminem. What's your way too early guess on how many games we wear normal unis next season? I'm going to say 4. This is a conversation people want to have.
Why? I mean, well, what does this even matter?
How
many regular
who
season
cares?
games
If
now?
they went
12?
12-0, are you still going to be mad about them like wearing it? Like, why? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They should bust Clemson,
matter, man.
all golds.
I mean, they're on the road. It's a literal road game. They're playing at Clemson, which is crazy to me.
Get your leg back.
6.
I'm not going. As of now, I'm not going to Clemson until something changes.
Why, you don't want to stay with Richie?
That's what I was going to do. That's where I was going to go. I was going to talk to Richie and Brad. See if I can't go up there. They have a lake. Richie's in-laws have a lake house up there in Clemson.
That's
Maybe
true.
we go
There you
up
go.
there.
Starlink.
Hey, Starlink, baby, from the lake house.
You know what's
from the
rolling.
boat.
You know what might be rolling there.
I heard.
Yeah. So get your spots now.
I heard. Party box.
I don't know if you have. I don't know if
That's
you
a
have.
long
You
drive.
don't have. Yeah, you don't have the cut of your jib to
That's
make
a
it.
long drive.
Guess what? Yeah, I don't even have to drive it. As long as you're entertaining enough, you get to.
Yeah,
Coach, that's a long drive.
That's a long
How
drive.
far is it? Do
About
you
13,
think?
14. Probably a little bit further, honestly. About 13, 14 to Charlotte. I'm not sure if you can kind of get there before.
Let's see.
So that's a long drive. Actually, I think it's like 11, 12 to Charlotte. It's so long. I've done it before.
Oh, 9 hours and 15 minutes.
So it's closer then.
Yeah.
So it's like driving. It's like driving to Atlanta then from here, basically.
Easy.
Still far, but
9 hours in the bus with the Starlink and the
well,
TV.
in the bus is probably about 10 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said
See,
9
all
hours
good.
in the bus with the Starlink. Hey,
Yeah.
bro, you're not getting nothing from you.
Yeah.
Starlink.
Yeah.
That's what. That's a season of a TV show. You're there.
That's a long. I mean, yeah. Anyway, we got a long time to talk about that. We got baseball season before that,
Yeah.
which we are gonna be traveling hopefully for baseball season. Do want to go to Austin?
Ask Eminem from the Fonz. Did you have a halftime / mid-game snack? If so, was it the same every time, and what was it?
I like a little protein bar, a little snack bar, a little Energizer bar. Nothing crazy. I don't like having a full stomach playing.
Me either.
I didn't like feeling like I was like weighted, bloated, over like
Me
just
either.
overly full. Just something to kind of give you a little boost. So something's in the tank. Other than that, nothing crazy. So I tried to keep it pretty simple.
Sometimes if it was like, I usually would drink a shake before, like a light shake before the game, and that would be it. But sometimes when
Sonic
it's
Blast.
hot, like when it's hot and like you
A little
kind of
milk
get
in you.
lightheaded and you need a little bit more substance. I would always do. I'd go in and get a little PB, no J, just
Yeah.
peanut butter, fold over sandwich. Not even 2 pieces of bread, just fold over a bunch of peanut butter, and just house that, and then go back out there. That was my snack.
High school was different, but we did have a big plethora of like candy in the dugout.
Oh, well,
I mean, that's just getting crushed.
yeah, that's.
Oh, interesting. Let's see. We might get a big no answer here, but maybe Mikey. Ask Eminem, be honest.
Maybe
Do you fall asleep at the deer stand on the AM hunt, and do you tell people you didn't see anything?
Oh, no. No.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah.
I've never been on that.
I've never been in a deer stand in my life. I know people do some nefarious things up there when they're alone in nature with their phone.
Like
I do
what?
not fall asleep in the deer stand.
What do you do?
Kill deer.
Mm.
Yeah.
And time.
Kill deer. Drink some whiskey. Maybe. Some coffee.
In the morning? Damn.
God damn.
Coffee. Well, if you're on the afternoon, you're doing,
take it easy.
Is that in the AM?
you can hunt in the afternoon.
So you're getting hammered off whiskey with a rifle in your hand?
I'm not getting hammered.
Oh.
I never said hammered.
Oh.
Drink a little bit. It's cold. Drink a little bit in there. Yeah, hell yeah. Very responsible when I do that.
Ask Eminem. Do y'all do the same outfits, Xmas cards with your wife?
Same outfits.
Do you do the same
Like the
outfit,
pajama
Christmas
or
cards,
We don't do
posts?
it's not Christmas cards.
Pictures.
Pictures. We do have the pajama deal. That's the
We
family
got some
thing.
pajamas, but we ain't really we ain't hopped into the picture game with
Yeah.
it yet, though.
Wait, so y'all wear matching?
We haven't even I haven't even broke them out yet.
We do them. We have them from two sets of families. Her family and my family.
Oh.
Yeah, double PJs.
You're like LSU. You got an alternate uniform.
Yeah. Yeah.
Home and away.
Oh,
Double
yeah.
down on the P, John.
Double down.
Y'all don't send out a Christmas card?
No.
Is that a lost art? Is it just
No,
Instagram now?
no. People love sending them. We just don't send them out.
Oh.
Yeah. We have children probably.
And we got Kobe.
Yeah.
Does he have pajamas yet?
She gets him
A nice hoodie.
No, she gives him like a little nice scarf.
Gives him a nice hoodie.
No PJ.
That dog, if he was in the wild, that thing would be
Oh, he had no chance.
toast.
No chance. Zero chance.
Ask Eminem. If you could only do one, deep dive in a sub, ride in a NASCAR at 200 miles an hour, ride in a jet, or ride in a drag car.
Am I driving a NASCAR or somebody else driving?
Ride.
a NASCAR? Hell no.
You should go deep down a submarine.
Yeah, that's
Hell no.
not even on my list.
I don't.
No.
Too claustrophobic for me.
Oh
like,
my God! Once you realize it,
I
Give me
think
the last one
NASCAR.
again.
drag race.
Give me the drag race. You know why I'm saying give me the drag race? Because
Like
I know
Too
you're
Fast,
going.
Too Furious?
Yeah, I know you're going straight. There ain't gonna be much of this. You ever been in a car with somebody that's driving like 150 plus? I have. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
Denver Harris.
No. I have. Let me tell you what. It is a very, very helpless feeling when you got zero control of that thing. It's a completely different feeling from the passenger seat than it is from the driver's seat. So with that being the case, give me the drag race because I know at least I'm going straight and there ain't gonna be any kind of fishtailing and all of that. So I'm gonna take that.
With that parachute doesn't open,
I want the NASCAR.
Drag me.
With a professional NASCAR driver.
I'd get in a jet so fast.
Well, the jet, like a fighter jet.
Yeah.
Nah, cuz I don't like the whole just convertible.
I mean,
feel
that would
with
be really
the
cool
glass
too, I
on
think.
top. No.
But like, boy,
No.
you got a lot of force. Like
I know. I love that feeling.
All the
the
G's.
drop, like it's like the Tower of Terror. Every
Yeah.
freaking
So you want him to
minute
do
of that
the? You
thing.
want him to do the loop?
Oh yeah.
The
You want him to do the
I'll even throw up. I don't care. Like if it's a,
Well, then,
Throw up on the.
yeah. Like I'm not scared of that. I'm not scared of that feeling.
They just dripping on you the whole way.
Yeah.
What you mean
but-
you ain't scared of the feeling? You threw up.
Yeah, but like that feeling, that you can either fight it or you let it go.
All right.
I'm a big pull the trigger guy. Let's get back to it.
I don't think you pulled the trigger. I think the trigger.
Yeah,
just said,
yeah.
This is what we doing.
Hit the hammer. Ask Eminem. When traveling for an away game in the pros or minor leagues, who was the worst coach to travel with? Crazy rules, no fun.
Wait.
Like when traveling, like on the bus, you
Like,
know.
who was like actually like name the coach or like?
This is just in
You
pro
could-
ball. I'm not gonna name the guy.
No, it wouldn't sound. Yeah,
I used to hate. So in pro ball, this is what I didn't like. I didn't really like this when you play with teams. It's not really a pro ball thing. It's kind of really more so in baseball. Period. Obviously, college is such a condensed season in terms of like length, if you will. But I didn't like the one thing you really can't have in baseball is I like people that give you honesty about how you're doing, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, or whatever it is. But I hated the thought of just because you lost, it had to be a quiet bus or a quiet ride. Like, nah, dog. I need all of that, everything that y'all usually do, because we can't let this stuff like that fester when you're talking about having to play every day and maybe you just got 7 1/3 shoved up your butt by somebody that was just a dog that day.
Yeah.
don't come back on this bus and be all quiet, like as if like it's doomsday, because then that bleeds into the next couple days. So like I like the guys that were just like, hey man, I need whatever you do when it's the best, I need that to be when it's bad on this bus too. Like y'all got to keep that energy.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite was in Tampa. Cash would gamble with us, so Cash was in the mix with us, like playing cards.
That's how you get to know the boys.
Awesome, right? He was a player. He did the whole deal. Detroit was great. Like the flights were great. You know, when you're in the minor leagues, you have a coach's bus. You have like the quiet bus, and you have the
bus
party
1, bus 2.
Right? Yeah, bus 1 and bus 2. The bus 1 has the staff. Players can be on that one too, and then bus 2, no staff, just players.
How does that get decided?
Sometimes there's only like 4 players that go on the coach's bus.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's like a full bus of just the team on the
That's
back.
what I'm saying.
and
You just like
sometimes
look at
Some buses is the quiet bus, some buses is the loud bus.
And look, depending on the road trip, like depending on your team and the road trip, like I would go on the coach's bus because like, damn, you know, and if you have a good coaching staff, the coach's bus isn't always super quiet too, right? Like some of the coaches may like to gamble in it. Some of the coaches may want to be part
They
of
might
it.
be picking the four dudes.
What's that?
Like they may be picking like 4 dudes that they're like.
Oh yeah, but they don't pick.
Oh, okay.
The players can just go to whichever one they want, and so yeah, that's the
Because at LSU, it feels like you get like
One bus.
No, they have 2 buses.
LSU's got 2 buses.
Yeah, and they
Well, I guess you have to now.
because they always assign them like.
Well, yeah, they
what,
have to. I mean,
bus
they got, like,
1, bus
40
2.
dudes in there, like, yeah.
So
We only had 1 bus, right?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
It sounded like they're other bus than I don't know.
You usually got one responsible bus and one.
Yeah, I could promise you the other
Just
bus.
straight
though,
goon
LSU's
bus. This is
LSU's
what you got.
I promise you, there's probably staff on both of those buses.
Yeah.
They don't let the one bus go without staff. Maybe so. I don't know.
Yeah, because they do the video like what bus, like bus 1, bus 2. And it doesn't seem like they know.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a good team if you can get on either
Yeah.
bus and still have a good time.
Good teams make for great road trips though.
Yes.
I was a big Detroit when I got sent down and we're in AAA. It was a big sleeper bus team, which in AAA you can either fly, right, which means you have to fly commercially. So the teams get there really early and you get to your flight and you got to go. And the cities are like usually not having nonstop flights, and so it's just kind of a pain in the ass.
It's not kind of. It's the worst.
Very much so.
It's
A pain in the ass.
The commercial flight in AAA, that was the absolute
Brutal.
worst.
And so Detroit, because you know most of those road trips that we go on were like 9 hours, make max 9-10 hours, max 10, usually not 10. So we'd finish the game and then we would get on the sleeper bus, and you know you would just drive through the night, but you have your own little bunk, and you go to sleep. And I like that because you got a back room, TVs, couches, car game, play that for a couple hours, have a couple drinks with the boys. All right, hey, it's midnight. I'm going to sleep. You wake up at 7 o'clock.
You there?
Fully rested. You're there. You're ready to go. Right? Flight. You wake up at 3 a.m. You probably didn't go to bed till midnight. You have to get out of bed. You got to get to the airport. You got to travel. You're jet lagged. That shit sucks.
Yeah, it's that commercial flight with the team in AAA. It's literally 3 a.m. wake up, 4 o'clock bus. You get into the airport to be on the first flight out, which is usually a 6 a.m. flight, maybe 5:50. And then you're asked to play that same day. So you're getting there, you get to the park, you're trying to go back and take a nap just to get any kind of sleep before you're showing up as a show and go, it's a shit show kind of day.
Yep.
I did like the idea, and we never really did it on any of the teams I was playing on. We always had the 2 buses and we went like that. But I did like the idea if we were going to travel deep and it was longer than a 6-7 hour drive, I was like, man, instead of doing the early flight like this, why don't we just get a sleeper and everybody do this thing where you kind of get some camaraderie a little bit.
Awesome.
People get some real rest, if you will, at night. And you go like that.
You want to hear a funny story?
No.
My house that I live in right now, I bought it on one of those bus trips.
Oh wow.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
How'd that go down?
So I was in Detroit, and I had just gotten sitting down, and we were gonna have we had already sold my old house, and we were gonna build a house. We had a lot, and we were gonna build a house. Well, you know, planning a wedding at the same time, not a great idea to do both.
No.
So Allie was flying back to Baton Rouge the next day. We had gotten a text from our realtor saying, "Hey, this house came on the market right at what y'all are trying to pay. You know, right down the street from where y'all are gonna build." Allie was flying back. She went to see it. They had a bunch of offers 24 hours later. So I'm on this road trip on the way back, and I'm having to have these conversations on the phone. So, you never know what's going to happen on these bus trips.
I had to sit with the coach on the bus.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah, they did that right. They were trying to keep the bus in order.
Yeah.
I respect them. I respect the ideas.
Yeah, he knew his teammates. He knew his personnel.
But then he wore him down.
Did he?
Loved me.
Then he was like,
you might as well go on back there if you want. But last one, Ask Eminem from the Fonz. What are you mixing with your eggnog? Alcohol.
Yeah. I hate eggnog. You like eggnog?
I'm not on it, cousins.
No, I'm not an egg. Is milk punch different?
I don't know.
I don't even know what milk punch is.
I don't know. My uncle makes a milk punch.
Eggnog's with
I ain't never had no milk punch. I don't know
Christmas
what that is.
vacation.
It's a white people thing.
That's what Uncle Eddie was drinking.
You said it, not me, cuz. I don't know about no milk punch.
But
I've never heard of milk punch.
I know what eggnog is,
Yeah,
obviously.
it's one of those that I don't like eggnog either.
Eggnog's ill.
No, we all know
I don't love it. I'm not going to get into the
viscosity of it is odd.
Because when you talk about the texture of it, it's not
becomes a conversation
that you would definitely bring up.
Right.
You wouldn't let it slide, so I'm not going to bring it up.
It's if I had to guess.
Yeah.
It might be like this.
Well, no. That's not where I was going with that at all. At all.
But whiskey, I'd imagine. I don't know what you put in eggnog.
I don't
it's called eggnog for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's not me. But
what is your? Do y'all drink early on Christmas?
I mean, I think wine. I mean, I always like whiskey, but it's gonna suck. Christmas is gonna be a warm Christmas this year.
I don't really love a warm Christmas.
Me either.
It's gonna be cold tomorrow, and then this weekend, warm Christmas.
I don't love a warm Christmas.
I hate it.
Cold Christmas, whiskey. We'll do it early.
That's no doubt.
Hot Christmas.
My grandma's old house, Oakdale, Louisiana.
Hell yeah.
Right? That's going kind of up towards your way, right?
Hey,
golf carts was the big city.
Yeah, golf carts are street legal there.
That's it. So
we're going to town.
Not much going on there.
No,
right? Like if you go back there now, really not much going on. But like especially then, it was kind of like this cute, like kind of vibrant little town, but still not much going on. So a lot of eating and a lot of drinking. All our family there, obviously. The Karam side, big family.
Oh, really?
Wine would be poured at like
2 o'clock.
The minute it turned 11 o'clock.
As soon as you got in the deer stand?
Yeah.
We ain't hunting out there.
It comes that shit face from whiskey.
Wine is getting poured right early. So you're drinking it. You don't even notice that you're drinking as much as you're drinking.
White wine?
Well, we start red wine.
Oh
yeah. And so you start. Playing. We had to go to church. And we would forget.
Oh yeah, you don't want to mix.
We went to church hammered.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Midnight mass.
It was amazing. It wasn't midnight. It wasn't. It was like 4 o'clock.
Hey, all them giggling, looking at each other.
I actually might need some of this. This body of Christ to sober me up.
This is great.
We stopped. Service had been in it better.
Yeah, we stopped because we would do the same thing. The mom and the family just called it like this is a joke about what y'all are doing on Jesus' birthday. Like,
yeah, but on Christmas Day
we used to do midnight mass too on the 24th, and that was
never a midnight mass. We were always that 4 or 5 o'clock mass, and then go
back
to the
it.
whatever family house you're going to do the Christmas Eve.
Taxi cabs there, I'd imagine.
What?
Cabs there.
Cabs where?
To church.
Taxi.
Nobody's driving. Yeah, nobody's driving. Oh, take the golf cart.
Oh, Oakdale's right down the street.
Yeah,
you
walk
can
there.
You can drive a car there. You know. But Christmas Eve, you're not drunk yet. You know what I mean? You have to wait. You're not drunk till after Mass on Christmas Eve. Midnight Mass is a little different story. We never did that.
Oof.
Robbie and them did it, though. They used to be the altar servers for Midnight Mass.
I don't think I ever got the honor.
Yeah, they were the MVPs of the altar servers.
I was an altar server.
Me too. I got kicked out.
Me too.
Because I could not remember what to bring. So
I could not be quiet. That
was my problem.
I was a big yawner and I was a sloucher, and then I could not bring the right freaking stuff, and to the point where the priest had to walk me back, show me what to bring, and then I had to go back. And my mom said, "We're never doing this again. You embarrassed."
He ain't paid no attention.
Star of the show.
Terrible ass kid.
I brought it to him. He says no. I went back. He says no. And he walked over there. Actually, the deacon did it. Walked over there, showed me, walked back. I brought it to him, tail between my legs, sat down. My mom looked at me like she was staring a hole through my body.
Oh, no. The nicest lady ever.
You're supposed to be studying this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
What did they say? Like, was it let us pray, and you had to bring the book up, and if you weren't paying attention, like
No, it was when you and so here's the issue.
the gifts.
It was the blood,
no, the
water.
big deal.
You have to like, it was like the whatever, right? The problem is usually there's two of us.
The consecration of Christ.
The two of us usually. The older guy was the one that was always the leader, and so he was like, "Hey, this is what you do." Older guy didn't show up this day.
Oh
It
no!
was a solo job.
Thrust into the starting role.
I was not
Sweating.
ready.
Sweat.
Not ready. I had nobody to tell me, and it was not good. It was not good.
Bring
It was
them all up
nobody's
at
fault.
once.
Nobody's fault but mine. Should have studied.
Yes, chef.
Should have studied. Yeah.
Didn't know it was going to happen. Mom told him to go to bed 6 times the night before. Probably stayed up till 2 a.m. She
Watching tape on EWTN.
Didn't look. It wasn't locked in. Just wasn't locked
I
in.
wasn't ready. Wasn't ready for the moment. I had my opportunity and blew it.
Maybe this kid needs Adderall.
I blew it. But you know what it did do? It got me out of the
The
altar
robes.
server game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 4th grade, I think I was. We had to walk we had a banner that we would walk down the aisle, and you had to walk it back. I nailed it the way in because you can't really do anything wrong. You got to stick it, boom, in the little holder, walk to your spot, all good. I forgot that you had to lead them out, and you go sit in your normal
You
seat.
just walked without it?
Oh, no, I forgot all of it. And so then I remembered as they were looking around, booked it, sprinted up there, grab it. And this, in 4th grade, I could fly. And then when we get to put it, we get to the opening when we're leaving, door frame, bang, right on top of it. It's oh man, I lost this job.
You beheaded Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe that's why I had a bad Christmas.
Maybe so. Maybe that's why you didn't get the Xbox 360.
Maybe this is where
that's where it started. That's where it stemmed from. We got now. Look,
he didn't want to tell us all that
therapy.
at first. Yeah.
When you just talk it through, that's what happens.
He went through worse on the cross and I did him a favor. Probably wish that would ended earlier.
Okay.
Now we move
And now
on.
you just did
Oh my God.
Now you went too far. I was gonna try to get back to a little of the sports conversation.
Oh, I do have a quick update that we got.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I have an update too. Diego Pavia.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you were about to say?
No.
Diego Pavia got granted an extra year, so he will be back.
So he'll be back. Oof.
He'll be back for the Vols.
Oh, he
coming back.
No,
we're going.
Not for the Vols.
For the Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
What are they called?
The Commodores.
The Doors.
Blew their doors
but
off.
You have to go to
Oh,
Nashville next year.
might not be done yet.
Ooh.
Stadium might be finished by then. I don't know.
I don't want to go to that game. Love Nashville.
Oh,
you
man.
don't want to go to the game. I see what you're doing right now.
Love Nashville.
I know what you're doing, all right.
Love Nashville.
Go to Santa's.
I got friends that live there. I got free place to stay. Maybe. Love Nashville.
It is. There's some places there where you. Oof.
Yeah.
Kid Rock has a
I've
bar.
heard. I've never been there.
Oh, speaking of Diego Pavia, put out a tweet an hour ago. This is the world we're living in right now with college football.
Is this your news or?
Was this your news?
No, but it just popped up on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Diego Pavia tweeted 1 hour ago, "My lawyers are legit. Ryan and Sal, I appreciate y'all. God is good all the time."
Wow.
That's what we're living in college football. He litigated his way into an extra year of college football.
That's great.
Because how did he get one?
He should have gotten one. It's
Why?
great. Everyone else is getting 9 years. Like whatever.
Well,
He's good for college football. They should put him out there.
But my news was
Yes.
their LSU put out a little practice video.
I saw that deep ball to Aaron Anderson.
Yeah, but what you may not have noticed is the offensive line.
I did notice it. I did not.
Left tackle, Tyree Adams. Left guard, Paul Mubanga. Center, DJ Chester. Right guard, Bo Bordelon. Right tackle, Miles Frazier. Little shifting.
So they moved Miles Frazier. I didn't know if they were going to move to left tackle, but they moved to right tackle.
Yeah, Tyree Adams has been
They like Tyree Adams a lot.
a lot.
A lot. So that's why I think that they're kind of slow playing the offensive line transfers right now because
They're loaded.
they like their young guys.
They do.
And I'm okay with that. If they think those guys, if they're going to evaluate the offensive lineman they have in the portal compared to the offensive lineman they have now, and the money that they're spending on the portal, it tells me that they value their guys higher.
There had
than
to be
the portal.
somewhere in one of these position group rooms where there is foundational pieces, guys that you can build
Right.
with, guys that you can continue to go with. You had that with Will Campbell and
Yeah.
Emory Jones, right? To be able to replace him with the same thing is kind of what you need. Somewhere.
So if Tyree Adams is that guy, right? Like I said, they won
Out for the year.
Huh?
He was out for the year.
Right. So he hadn't played. Wait. Oh, yeah. Well, he was out for the regular season.
He came back and played the regular season.
When? Oh, last game, didn't he?
The second to last game. Whenever
He didn't play a lot though, right?
no, it was on a gotta have you basis. But
Yeah.
he was announced out for the year after he had a sports hernia. Then
Hey.
it got dire when I think it was Dellinger that went out.
Yep.
And actually get up out the gurney.
And he worked his way back in there. Good for him. I respect that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if they like him at left tackle and they slide him over to left tackle, and then they go get this guy, the center comes in from Virginia Tech. Now all of a sudden you have an experienced, or you have a talented guy that you believe that you can put at tackle. You have experience, a guy who's had a whole year starting, right, and kind of got his ass kicked, which is good motivation going into the offseason. Maybe you move him out of a position that he's maybe not comfortable in to a position at the guard position where he's a little bit more comfortable in. You put another experienced guy in center that you fill the spot. So now you got three guys on the offensive line that have a lot of experience, and then Mbenga played all year, even though he kind of got cooked a little bit, but he played all year.
Young kid, man. That's
yeah,
a
that's what I
big
mean.
time, and this is another
doubt.
game for him to kind of step up to be able to.
And he
you
got
know,
better at the end of the, at the, end of the year.
springboard him into
Right.
into the spring right here and into next fall. So this
So
is huge for him.
my point in saying that is you have a lot of experience, albeit you lose your two All-Americans, and then maybe they go get another right tackle. Maybe. But it shows you how much they like the guys they got on the roster right now.
Oh,
What?
cryptic message from Jacoby Matthews
Oh, he made some, what did he say?
on the tweeter.
What
Ain't
did he
hard
say?
to find. I don't know if LSU has reached out.
Oh, really? You think that's what that means?
Yeah, I've heard some.
You don't know if they've reached out at all.
I
don't think
if
they
you-
want
I don't
him?
know. Yeah, I don't know if he's very high on their list.
Wow. Is it because he sat out? Or is it because they
I
just
don't.
didn't like him before?
I don't know. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. But I do know that he is very interested in return to LSU. So, but I don't know why they wouldn't at this point. Maybe they have somebody lined up.
Alabama transfer Caleb Odom has committed to Ole Miss.
Good get.
Is he?
Do you see what the call to arms by the Alabama AD?
Yeah, that's tired.
Oh, we did.
Everyone's
first.
doing it.
Yeah.
But like, he came out. He's just, I don't know. He doesn't come out very. I guess it's hard for people to sympathize with Alabama, and now he's coming back out and asking for this money. It's like, well, you had.
A generational run.
Yep, and the guy that you had there.
He was asking for money too.
Yeah, and now you're asking for money after replacing the guy, and then they didn't make the playoff the first year the guy's there. Which is, look, it was a hard. They didn't have a terrible team. They wouldn't have a bad team. They just didn't make the playoffs. It's hard to ask. It's hard to ask for money for that, and these guys may not.
I don't
be,
think they have a choice. I don't think pretty much anybody has a choice.
Right.
It's either you get low or get left at this point.
It's so long. I'm not gonna read it, but he's basically pitching to go to their whatever website they have, and it's this real cryptic, like, roundabout way of please fucking donate to Alabama athletics. Never had to do that. The job gets a little bit harder without Nick Saban there, doesn't it, Greg?
It does. It's hard when you don't have to do anything. It's an easy job, Greg. When you got the best coach in the world, you don't have to tell me anything.
Didn't he just get this big pay raise too recently? Well, go earn that paycheck. That's where you're at right now.
The first post underneath it. I ain't reading all that. I'm happy for you though, or I'm sorry that it happened.
Oh man.
Oklahoma gets John Mateer.
I saw that. So he did not go to Miami. He ended up going to. He was supposed to go to Oklahoma, and then they came back and said, "Well, maybe he's going to." Now it looks like Miami's going to swoop in, and he kept his commitment to Oklahoma. Why did you do that?
The Bengal Tiger posted the wide receiver room's 100-meter times.
I saw that.
Jelani Watkins, we got to get you just go ball.
They have a
10-1.
They have a lot of. They posted the what times?
100-meter times.
Oh, I thought you posted. I saw one with 40-yard dash times. Now, 40-yard dash. We've talked about this a lot. 40-yard dash times. Until you run it on a laser time, don't tell me what you run.
Yeah, I don't really care about what you're running.
Everybody runs a 4.3.
Does somebody have it in their hand, or
Yeah.
is it on an
Yeah.
actual laser?
Don't tell me because, listen, everybody runs a 4.4, 4.3. But in this post, there's 5 of these receivers in the 4.3s. I'm like, that's a lot. It's a lot of receivers. Now there is a lot of speedsters on the receivers. I will say that.
I would say 4.3 speed.
10.1 speed. Equivalent.
10.1 is faster than that.
A 10.100 is not faster than a 4.3 probably.
That's like you're pushing like 4.3 flat.
Well, I mean
I might tell like
100. The 100 is
you get to
you have a lot. You know what I mean? So you could probably pick up some speed as you go, right? Your first 40, that doesn't necessarily always.
I don't know which one he's faster in.
Right.
But 10.19 is elite speed.
Yes, it is. Very elite speed.
Because Aaron Anderson's here
maybe
at a 10.7.
I would like to see him
And
out there. I don't know. You think he's just a speedster, track guy, not a really a receiver?
He's slight of frame.
That's the issue. He's kind of like an Xavier Worthy type guy.
We might have to. He's not. I don't think he's that tall. But you might have
that
to
frame?
put him in a set to where he can't get touched off the line. Like don't get hands on him and then just let him go. Because if he needs 10 seconds to run the entire length of the football field,
Yeah.
imagine what he can do in 3 or 5.
Well, if you go by 100 yards in 10 seconds, you probably can go 50 yards in 5 seconds. If you're gonna just do it based off that.
If you can block for 3 seconds
block
and he's
for
30
2
yards down the
Yeah.
field.
All right.
What a math.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the quarterback lets it go, and by the time he gets there, he's probably another 20 yards down the field. You know.
He was a weapon in CFB 25.
Yeah. You still playing that?
No.
You put it down.
I did.
Put the sticks down. You got over it already.
I got broken. Jared Mitchell broke me.
That happened pretty quick.
Yeah. I was like, well, dreams are dead.
All right.
Oh man.
Your before we get to the Friday show, your bets. Who do you like this weekend?
I told you
We don't have
about.
to go through the whole details of
No,
it. but-
I took the money line parlay. I took Tennessee money line.
Right, but that's the only bet you're making. We're gonna do a team parlay, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but we could do we'll save some for Friday. I'd just
Yeah,
say
for sure. I was just making sure.
taking all of the.
And look, over-unders are part of it too.
I haven't looked at those yet.
Me either. That's why we got time.
Yes, but no, I don't know if all 3 will hit. That would make for chaos, as Jared Mitchell brought up before the show. Which would you rather see? And we could say this maybe for Friday conversation.
Yeah.
We'll tease it though. There's a world where maybe restructure happens in the playoff based off the results you get on
No doubt.
this weekend.
No doubt.
Well, not next year.
No, 2 years.
You're locked in at least
I
one.
think they could. Are
Yeah,
they
you can't-
locked
No,
in?
you're locked in for the first 2. Yeah.
Oh no!
The
I see what you're
format.
saying. I see what you're saying. The format's locked in, but he's saying how they judge, how they rank the teams at the end of the year.
Yeah.
That can change.
Yeah.
Oh, what criteria are you using to put them in? Are you
That's a fun little-
valuing championship games, or are you valuing strength of schedule? Right? And if this year they obviously value championship games, and if it doesn't really work out that way, then they're going to say, okay, we value strength of schedule more. I think what is definitely going to change in 2 years is the buys. Like the teams
The
that
buys
have,
will no longer
yeah,
be
the teams that have the
conference
buys
championships.
right now are ridiculous.
They won't be tied to conference
No,
championships anymore.
can't be. Arizona State cannot be having a buy.
It'll be a subjective.
Boise State cannot have a buy.
It'll be a subjective.
Yeah.
This is who we think's the best.
No
and I
doubt.
don't really care what y'all say, and
No
that's
doubt.
fair. I think at least at that point.
I agree. Also, going back to the best, not on that same topic, I do believe, I think it's 12-point spread, Texas Clemson. I think Texas covers that. I do. Part of me when I first saw it, I was like, damn, 12's a lot. But then I remember watching Clemson and really watching who they played, and I just never was really. Every time they played a good team, they did beat
SMU.
but
But is that we're throwing
is
them in that
that,
bucket?
are we putting SMU in the
They played Georgia
category?
well.
Who?
They played Georgia well for a
First half.
half.
Right. But that was first game of the season. That's before anything else happened. Then they got boat raced against Georgia. Was it Georgia Tech?
I don't know.
Wait, who played Georgia well?
Clemson for a half.
First half.
I was about to say no. The hell
No,
they didn't.
First half. But then I think it was Georgia Tech, right? That boat race Clemson.
I'm looking it up real quick.
I think you're right. I think it was Haynes King that kind of went. I think it was like
It wasn't even close.
I think it was like a rainy-ish kind of game.
I mean, it wasn't close at all.
Louisville 33-21.
Louisville did it.
South Carolina beat them also 17-14.
Yeah.
They beat Tech.
Yes.
Okay,
It's
so
close.
It was
24-14.
Louisville game.
Yeah, they didn't play Wake Forest. I mean, they didn't play Georgia Tech. Georgia was the one that was close. That was
right. But yeah, so they got boat raced by Louisville because it wasn't really close ever.
No, I mean
I don't know.
some of these scores. Yeah, I don't blame. I'm not a Clemson guy.
And I think Texas is like, you know,
Quinn getting healthy.
very equivalent to like Texas's front seven or front four on the defensive side is really good. You know what I mean? Like they gives Clemson some problems. If Clemson can't run the football, they have some issues, right? They don't have. What's the running back's name? Maffa.
Yeah.
Maffa is the running back. He's good, but if he ain't running,
Gave him a little time to get healthy though.
Yeah.
He was kind of banged up a little bit towards the end of the year.
so we'll see. I like Texas at home to cover that. I'll put money on it to do that.
It's a great tease game. Oh, shocker.
Hey.
Well, not shocker.
Not shocker.
Get your unbiased opinion. Fonz in high school, 5'6", 160, running back,
That was Fonz.
laser
Little scat
timed,
back.
40. What do you think?
For Fonz.
4.62.
First of all, what high school is given laser times? We didn't have laser times.
He's how old is he? 41.
Still
Yeah, I know.
41 years old having laser times. I mean,
I'm just quoting the man. 4'6".
if he's putting it in there,
It's something
that's significant. I'm gonna say 4.55.
4.45. 10.92 in the 100-meter dash. I said, what would you run now? Haven't
Can I
gotten
get
an
some
answer.
video? Can we get some video proof of that?
Yeah, pop out the
Fonz, we'll
play it. It'll be in the intro.
I will play it. I'll put it in the trailer.
Yeah.
If it's true, I'll put it in the trailer.
And if you run another 40, we'll put that one in there too.
Yeah, I don't want to run a 40.
Not you. I'm talking about 8 flat now, he says. Something happened. I thought you'd be faster without that digit.
8 flat.
4.45.
What does an 8 flat look like?
Coach,
in a 40?
4.45 is flying.
Fonz, get on Ozempic. Get it back.
Flying.
That's flying.
All right. That's all we got for today. Appreciate the Ask Mikey.
Oh, you think that until we have segments.
Yeah, that is right. We do have those.
There's a lot of mistake of the day.
Mistake of the day is brought to you by our friends at Dozy Place. You got one. A lot of them. Like
I'm only going to do one. I might save one.
I'm going to do one. I'm just going to do one.
I'm only going to do one. That's going to be Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
The Charlotte Hornets did a promo at halftime selecting one special young boy to,
Where is this going?
at halftime, they presented him with a PlayStation 5. At halftime, made a big show of it. He was their lucky winner. And as soon as he was off camera, take the PlayStation 5 away and give him a jersey.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no way.
So they promote the PS5. He's not getting the PS5.
They gave it to him in the game, on the Jumbotron. Gave him the PlayStation 5. Walked him off the court, gave him a jersey. Not signed, nothing, just a jersey.
Wow, that's kind of fucked. That's terrible.
And the tweet is, you guys want to see a cheap sports organization? In this video, my best friend and his nephew got called onto court for a special segment where they gift the kid a PS5 publicly. With cameras off, they took it away and gave him a jersey. Take a bow, Hornets. And a swift call to action. The Hornets swear they will send him a PlayStation 5 and and special tickets.
Trust me.
Trust me.
Just trust me.
That kid ain't getting no PlayStation. Could you imagine being that kid? That's the dude. Talk about a Christmas villain origin story.
Hey, Ricky Collins, Syracuse.
Syracuse.
That's a good move for him.
Is McCord leaving?
Huh? It can't. Does he? Have
I
to?
mean,
he has
get a
to,
lawyer
right?
and you can come back.
Man, good for Ricky Collins. Sling that thing around.
I'd be excited about it.
Should be. That's a tough mistake of the day.
Yeah,
Hope the kid gets his PS5.
And the Charlotte's PR department.
Uh-huh.
During last night's game, there was an on-court skit that missed the mark. The skit included bad decision-making and poor communication. Simply put, we turned the ball over and we apologize. We have reached out to the family and are committed to not only making it right, but to exceeding expectations. We'll be providing the fan the PS5 that he should have taken home last night, along with a VIP experience to a future game. That ain't happening either. Our goal is, and will remain to elevate the guest experience for every person that enters Spectrum Center, and to show our fans how much we appreciate their relentless support.
That's just...
Dude, this is
At what
That's a
point
stain
did-
on the city of Charlotte right there. I don't
At
like
what
that
point
one.
did you say, you know what, this is a good idea. We're just gonna pretend to give him one
fuck them kids.
and not give, and then take away from him.
like
With the internet and the social
That's
media,
what I was about to
everything, like,
say.
You know this is gonna get out, and then you're gonna have to go tail between your legs. You're gonna give it to him anyway, but then you're gonna have all the bad PR. Why? Like what?
You have lost everything you tried to do with the promotion. Everything.
whose idea was like, man, fuck it, take it away from him. Like, yeah, ain't giving him no PlayStation.
Yeah, that's.
Or give a PlayStation, no controller, no game. Like, damn.
Hey, have you been watching the Barstool deal?
Yes, I can't wait to.
I haven't watched any of it.
Oh,
but, like I've seen
must
clips.
watch. Must
Like
watch.
everyone's a part of it.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes Barstool so great. Like you have like, you
Hey,
know,
every end of the spectrum.
yeah. You have like Clemmer, right?
That-
you have
That's part of what I'm talking about.
Mincy,
definitely.
and then you got
Big Brain Dave.
Compton,
Yeah.
and you got
Wit and Biz.
Yeah, you got Biz. You got all the guys who played professional sports,
Dude, some of the
mixed in and like invested in it.
Oh, dude, they want to win.
Yeah, $250K.
And then you got Big Cat and Dave, and they're all forming alliances, and it's just an unbelievable watch.
And look, the owner's in it, right? Like,
yeah,
it's great.
he got voted out first last year.
So how does it work?
It's Survivor.
It's just Survivor.
They all go to council, and they're separated into two teams, and then if you lose a challenge, you have to vote somebody off of your team. So people are trying to make alliances to make sure they don't get voted off. If you win the challenge, nothing happens. Everybody stays the same. You're safe.
So you just gotta win.
Yeah, but there's also idols that you can find to keep yourself safe from elimination. So if you're the one that gets picked, or you think you're going to get
You
picked,
have an idol.
you're like,
Trump
no.
card. Yeah.
And they're like, we don't know who to fucking pick now.
Wow. How long does this go?
I think we're on episode
9?
8.
8 or 9? How many do they have?
I don't know. I'd imagine 10.
You think? Who's still in?
Well, I'm not gonna spoil it. I don't know yet. I have 2 to watch.
How
But-
long are the episodes?
An hour.
I may start going try to watch. I mean, I haven't seen it. I've only seen clips. It
Y'all
looks like.
y'all would appreciate it for seeing some of these challenges are very much athlete based, and to see them go against the non-athletes as a sight to see. 'Cause it just like these are professional athletes and they're not that far removed from their prime. And it's like, oh my God, you're very strong.
Yeah, like damn, like because you look
Taylor
at
Lewan?
you look at us as like hey, we
work together.
coworkers, right? Like we do the same thing now. You're not an athlete. You were an athlete, kind of like haven't done it anymore. Like, oh, it's not like they've been retired for 15 years, right? Like
It's been 3.
It don't go away that day.
I think people need to realize that. Like sometimes when you talk about stuff, it's like, hey, listen, I know what you think, but like the reality of it is like, nah, like these guys are still really good athletes and really strong and not out of shape and probably still work out. Right?
Yeah.
Probably still do a lot of the same type of training. They're just not playing games.
Even like people shit on Will Compton's like I played 10 years in the NFL and I shouldn't have. Like you don't think that I got something to me?
right.
Like I shouldn't have been out there, but I
Right.
definitely could be here. But it's a great watch. One day,
One day, what?
you know,
We'll do it.
we expand the staff.
We need. I mean, I would love to do that.
And it would just be me.
I would
versus
love to be able to
you.
expand it and have like this whole like media. Just we gotta work on that. We're
Yeah.
working. Listen, baby steps, step by step by step.
Because now 2v1, I can't make many alliances.
Now,
I don't think I'm winning any competition.
well, now, there's some in the future. You got a lot of things cooking.
Alliance.
Alliance, alliances.
Nothing would make my heart happier.
Wow, well, that would be a wild.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Everything
All
happens.
right. Curtain call brought to you by our friends at Perkins and McKenzie. What you got?
Oh, Fonz is trying to. He's like, I think I have pictures. I don't need.
Well,
need
pictures. What is that gonna tell me?
Yeah.
Pictures when you wrote next to a Sharpie on the Polaroid camera, 4.3 or 4.45.
Yeah, come on, Fonz. You kidding
I
me?
don't know.
If it's blurry, then maybe I'll believe you.
He can give you like the flip book and just show him, watch him run the 40. Look how fast I'm going.
He said, we had lasers for track in Florida. My times were done at Bowles High School here in Jacksonville, big prep school.
The fact that he's in Jacksonville, listen to us I love that. I respect that.
Yeah, I believe him.
Okay.
Ran the wing T.
All right.
Kick return, punt return specialist.
Nice. I did a kick return, did not punt return.
I knew what you were gonna do.
Damn it.
What?
I knew what you were gonna do.
I shouldn't have looked. I should have just kept my head down.
What did you do? What happened?
My fingers quick.
You know, you had to catch it on sight.
Damn it. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, Fonz said his parents didn't love me and didn't record me.
I'm
sorry, Fonz. My parents didn't love me either. No, they definitely don't. Get to see him tonight. Curtain call. I've got one. Should we do it for a show, or do y'all have one? There's one.
I have one.
Okay. I have a separate one that I don't think anybody picked.
I didn't put it in the thing.
I didn't either, and I had it, and I'm like blanking, so please go so I can kind of think of this thing again.
After all of the hubbub about Hard Knocks and the success that it's had on streaming platforms such as HBO or Max now, a Netflix sports series following the 2024 SEC college football season is coming summer of 2025, providing unfiltered access to coaches, players, and college football's most dominant conference, giving you an exclusive look at key matchups throughout the season. Reportedly, and confirmed, Netflix was at LSU multiple times. So
that's going to be great.
I hope they were there for the Ole Miss game.
I'll imagine.
They haven't realized that's too late, though. Like, that's old news at that point, right?
What?
Like,
I think people will watch the shit out of it.
getting ready for more football.
Right.
Like, yeah.
I think that they definitely were at the Ole Miss game. Probably the Alabama game too.
Yeah, you're gonna get both two sides of that coin.
Yeah.
Probably Texas A&M.
Huh?
Probably the A&M game because that was their big game for them.
Statement from Diego Pavia's attorneys.
Yeah, they have to cover their ass now.
No, listen. With respect to the question on the mind of every Vanderbilt fan, Downton stated, while the court's ruling does not restrict where Diego can play next year, he loves Vanderbilt and Coach Lee. He loves them, so long as he receives an appropriate NIL package. I expect to see him in the black and gold for as long as he has eligibility remaining and Jerry Kill and Tim Beck are coaching in Nashville. So long as he gets
They're being held hostage.
Yep, as he gets an appropriate NIL package.
Pay me.
And I'll come
money.
down. No.
Give me my money.
Pay me.
It's my money and I want it
Part
now.
of it.
All right, you
It
want me to
is
get
what
one?
it
Or
is,
you figured
I can't think of it. I forgot what it was.
So, my curtain call. I was gonna give the curtain call to the state of Louisiana for going all in on the NIL stuff. We talked about it a little earlier on the $10 million settlement won by the Louisiana lawsuit. $225,000 of that will be split between LSU athletics.
Shout out to all the jewelers.
Shout out to the jewelers. We appreciate you. Like it may kill you, but you definitely you supplied NIL.
You did your
that
part.
That was your contribution.
Your contribution is addiction.
No doubt. That was it. And listen, if you want to contribute more,
keep jeweling.
Yeah, and $10 a month.
Every time you buy a pod, just put a little away.
That's it.
Or
every time you think about buying a pod, go and donate to LSU instead.
Or keep buying them. Another lawsuit.
Yeah.
I think they were causing seizures.
Yeah, and like holes in your lungs and stuff.
Bring it on.
Weird.
I'm going to give mine to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who is moving on from his stint and his time with the Kansas City Chiefs, and he has been signed by none other than New Orleans Saints, so he's bringing himself back home to the state where he started his own.
And I think he's been very honest
Yeah.
about his experience with the PTSD on the shooting incident that he had when he was in college. I think he masked it for a little while, and then it kind of came back. And listen, nobody can say anything about that unless you've been in a situation like that. I have not been. I've never had to struggle with, PTSD on a life-changing situation like that. And so I'd imagine that it can weigh on you pretty heavily and it affect the way you do your job. So maybe him coming back to Louisiana would be a good thing for everybody, good thing for him, good thing for his career, and allow him to kind of get that thing back going again. So yeah. Good curtain call.
Yeah. Need some love.
Welcome back to Louisiana, Clyde.
On the practice squad.
On the practice squad.
But with
on
an Alvin Kamara injury, and they made a cut to make room for him. I'd love to see him just.
And here's the deal:
for what the Saints season is, like it would be awesome to see him in the deuce.
No doubt, and he plays well, right? Like he does well in the practice squad, comes in there and does well. Maybe they give him another opportunity next year to do the same thing, right?
Mickey Loomis really has a real feel for how to keep people invested in watching the Saints at least one game at a time.
He hadn't been there since 2000 for a reason. Yeah, I mean, he hadn't.
Last,
he's been there since 2000 for a reason.
Yeah, but this is Sean Payton didn't do it. He didn't do it this way. It's on Jarvis. It's on Tyron. Claude, sure.
Tyron is the only one so far that's like.
Odell's a free agent.
Pan out. Can you imagine? No. Okay. That's all we got for you today on this beautiful Wednesday night. Enjoy the rest of the Wednesday. We appreciate and love you. We will see you on Friday, live in studio from 1 to 2-ish. Announcement. We'll announce it again on Friday. There will be no show Monday of next week or Wednesday of next week. Obviously, Wednesday is Christmas Day. Wednesday is the 23rd, day before Christmas Eve. We're going to give, we're all going to have time to go and do last-minute Christmas shopping if we need to do it, Lloyd.
Christmas shopping?
Yeah, you don't do
last minute.
You don't do that.
I got some last minute shit to do too.
Yeah, and people travel, go and see your families or be around your families, do all the things you need to do. Whatever you need to do. So Monday off, Wednesday off, back in studio on Friday, which will be. We'll talk a lot about the LSU bowl game because that'll be
coming around the bend.
All right, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you don't like watching us, but you like listening to us, or anywhere you get your pods. We appreciate the support. We love you. We'll see you on Friday. Peace.
Get your kids a damn Christmas present that they want.
I know. I meant to.